Wherever you are, whatever you do, Ibrandtv got you covered with the latest news.
On Ibrand News Now.
It's about making history.
Top-notch news analysis.
Who knows how many of them that we have in governance?
Insightful breakfast show.
Welcome to another interesting edition of Ibrandtv.
Business trends.
Hello and welcome to Business 24.
Entertainment gist.
Hello and welcome to the BTS.
Sport review.
This is the arena.
Fashion tips.
This is brands and fashion on Ibrandtv.
And a lot more. Keep watching Ibrandtv as we make your day worthwhile with quality TV broadcast. Ibrandtv. Business first.
Hello, this is Business News Now, reaching you live from Ibrand News Studio in Lagos. Coming up now, Nigeria loses 546.5 billion naira as federal government lifts the ban on Twitter. The Nigerian off-grid solar market now among the fastest growing in Africa. IMF warns cryptocurrencies high volatility and valuation will pose risks for financial stability in countries with widespread crypto adoption. U.S. consumer prices rise as fastest rate in nearly 40 years. Thanks for joining us, and here are the stories making the headlines at this hour. My name is Mary Chinda. After 7 months of uncertainties, the federal government has finally lifted the ban on Twitter operations in Nigeria. The lifting of the ban of the suspension was announced on Wednesday via a statement by the Chairman Technical Committee, Nigerian Twitter Enforcement and Director General, National Information Technology Development Agency, Kashifa Inua Abdullahi. The ban on Twitter lasted for 222 days, and since the suspension of the microblogging site, the impact of the shutdown on businesses has been of serious concern to business owners. According to the NetBlocks course of shutdown tool, Nigeria lost 104 million naira, that is $250,600 every hour to the ban, bringing the daily losses to 2.46 billion naira. By the end of yesterday, it was 5,328 hours in the 222 days since the social networking site was blocked, and about 546.2 billion were already lost by the economy. Nigeria's economy is expected to grow at 2.5% in 2022 and by another 0.3% next year, the World Bank has projected. The World Bank gave the focus in its latest Global Economic Prospects report. The Washington-based institution, in a section of the report which focused on recent development in sub-Saharan Africa state, said, and I quote, "The oil sector should benefit from higher oil prices, a gradual easing of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, production costs, and the domestic regulatory reforms," end of quote. Activity in service sectors is expected to form as well, particularly in telecommunications and financial services. According to the bank, activity in the non-oil economy will remain curbed by high levels of violence and social unrest, as well as the threat of fresh COVID-19 flare-ups, with remaining mobility restrictions being lifted guardedly because of the low vaccination rates. Meanwhile, Nigeria's external reserves has reached $40.509 billion. The reserve has, however, marginally declined from the $11 million when compared to its closing balance as at the last day of 2021, which was pegged at $40,520 data obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) on the daily reserves movement reveals reserve had gained $5.99 billion in October, following a $2.76 million gain in September 2021 as a result of the $4 billion Eurobond secured by the federal government and the $3.35 billion IMF special drawing rights facility. However, in November, it started declining as a result of heightened demand for school fees, travel, and other import needs, and soon regained an upward trajectory in the first week of January. Now, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, says cryptocurrencies' high volatility and valuation, as well as its increase in core movement with equity markets, will soon pose risks to financial stability in countries with widespread crypto abduction. The IMF disclosed this in a blog post titled, "Crypto Prices Move More in Sync with Stocks, Posing New Risks." The IMF said in the latest post that crypto assets were no longer on the sidelines of the financial system, adding there was an increasing and sizable co-movement between crypto and equity markets that would cause shock, destabilizing the financial market. It disclosed that the strong association between crypto and equities were apparent in emerging market economies, most of which are leading in crypto asset adoptions. Experts has emphasized the need to address the bottlenecks in the African Conference Free Trade Area Agreement, GABA Kufi, while assessing the level of progress recorded since the trade agreement came into force last year, says for member countries to maximize potentials of the trade agreement, it must improve the levels of access to credit and review some of its bottlenecks in the trade area.
When you look at our GDP, you look at the poverty, you will see that yes, we have the population, but the population doesn't have the capacity. So we need to improve our per income so that we reduce the level of poverty, and this will increase and promote more consumptions. And you can do this in two ways. One, by encouraging credit facilities. If you look at most of the developed country, everything is on credit. You don't need to have money to own your house. But that is not what we have in Africa. Over 75% of our houses, we own it 100%.
Right.
That, you don't need to do that. If you look at most of our car, we own it 100%, down to the GSM and what have you. In the developed market, they have developed their credit facility in such a way you don't need to own everything. There is insurance to cover you, and you can pay in a piecemeal. We need such facilities in Africa. If we improve our per capita income and we improve our credit facility across the border, our consumption will double and most of our productivity will increase.
Well, when you talk about credit facility, of course, DFDB, African Development Bank, is there to play its role on the Africa as the big brother. Other than the AFDB, who else is supposed to be playing this role?
I think we need to start the basic. First, we need to know our numbers. The ID, identification, is what helps the developed market. Every person, wherever you go, is identified. And Africa has to do something like that. Today, when last did we counted our people in Nigeria? We don't even know our population. Talk less of our ID. We need to know our population, need to have our ID. Once you have the ID, you can give credit facility because there is nowhere to hide. It will facilitate a common identity and we'll have a common national passport so that we don't need a visa. But just an African country, you need 54 visas to cross along the border? No. If we want free trade, we also need pre-movement. And pre-movement facilitate pre-trade. And that's what our people know before colonialization. You don't need any visa to go to Sudan.
So you've raised
Today,
two issues now.
yes.
Just a moment. The issue of credit facility and the issue of free movement across these borders as well.
Yes.
How do we get this conversation going? Because I know it's also part of this agreement and conversations are ongoing, but how do we bring it to a logical conclusion?
I think they are taking it step by step.
Okay.
By 13th of January, in Ghana, they are going to facilitate what we call this payment system settlement. And if we can facilitate payment system settlement across Africa, that will save Africa a minimum of $5 billion per annum on the bank charges, which is done abroad.
Now, that was an excerpt from our business show, The Business Breakfast. You can do well to join the conversation, which airs on all of our social media platforms. And, of course, the show airs every weekday in the mornings. Now, away from just that conversation, the Nigerian off-grid solar market is among the fastest growing in Africa, increasing at a 22% average annual rate during the last 5 years, according to a study conducted by Boston Consulting Group and a Shell-funded impact investment company. The report, however, said the country had underperformed its peers in Africa in penetrating of off-grid solar and had a long way to go before its solar market could be considered robust. It said Nigeria's installed photovoltaic panel per capita amounts to only 1 watt, compared to an average of 8 watts in similar emerging markets, indicating a big opportunity for further growth in the country. according to the report given the dynamics favoring solar deployment in the country's PV per capita could reach 5 to 8 GW by 2030. Now, the federal government is planning to source 620 billion naira loan from pension fund to support its proposed 7.73 trillion investment in transport infrastructure over the next 5 years. Specifically, the government is seeking to obtain the facility to finance transport sector projects between 2021 and 2025, hoping that over 13 trillion pension fund will grow at an average rate of 15% per annum during the period. These were contained in the federal government National Development Plan 2021 to 2025, Volume 1, which was launched recently. The federal government also revealed that the NDP document that the 7.73 trillion infrastructure spending would be sourced from the capital market, the Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund portfolio, pension fund, among others. The government, however, said the proposed 620 billion naira facility would be based on the willingness of pension fund administrators to invest in the transportation sector. And moving on now, the Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, APCON, has called on the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to remove restrictive controls that makes it difficult for Bureau de Change, BDCs, to compete for the $20 billion inflow in its unofficial forex market. This is as it laments the rising import bill of the country, calling on the federal government to deploy measures to tackle the challenge given its grave implications for the naira exchange rate. The association stated this in its quarterly economic review report for the fourth quarter of 2021, noting that the stoppage of dollar sales to the BDCs by the CBN has triggered a period of reformation and realization of potentials. These potential, APCON says, included the estimated $20 billion annual inflow of the in the unofficial forex market, which far exceeded the annual dollar cash sales to the BDCs by the CBN. Moving on, the federal government should license meter manufacturers to sell directly to electricity consumers. Moma's Electricity Meter Manufacturing Company Chairman Kola Balogun said on Wednesday. This, he believes, will help to bridge the gap between electricity and the huge metering gap. According to the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, of the 12,678,685 customers as of September of last year, only 4,772,906 have been metered. Balogun, who spoke with reporters in Lagos, noted that the metering was a key challenge in the industry and was responsible for the apathy towards bills payment. He advised the government to select a few tested and trusted manufacturers that have the capacity and endorse them for the generality of consumers to buy prepaid meters directly from them. But Balogun said, and I quote, "This will fast-track the metering process as some people cannot wait until the discos install meters in their premises," end of quote. Still continuing on the business news, Standard Chartered Bank has said that its decision to close down some of its branches will not in any way impact staff in 2022. The bank stated this in an official statement signed by Dayo Aderubo, head of corporate affairs, brand and marketing, Standard Chartered Bank Nigeria Limited. The British Banking and Financing Services Group said the decision is part of the digitization journey which the bank had embarked on years ago to improve customer service delivery. And still to come, G3 global financial markets see signs of destabilization. Details and more business news after this commercial break.
Powerful looks command respect, they say. The perfect body, the perfect grooming, and ultimately the perfect skin. Looks, style, and grooming makes the ultimate man. I've found a ridiculously easy way to make my skin always feel epic. My name is Neo. I found Ibrandtv, and now my skin finally makes sense.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services, that meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash, quick delivery.
Powerful looks command respect, they say. The perfect body, the perfect grooming, and ultimately the perfect skin. Looks, style, and grooming makes the ultimate man. I've found a ridiculously easy way to make my skin always feel epic. My name is Neo. I found Ibrandtv, and now my skin finally makes sense.
Oh boy, winning you was so easy.
I just couldn't stand those your powerful shots. That's what happened.
Really? Let's go to my place for dinner.
This fufu is so nice.
It's through unripe plantain flour.
True unripe plantain flour is delicious.
Yes, true unripe plantain flour is what I serve my husband for swallows. It's easy to prepare, fortified with vitamin A, low in sugar and cholesterol, rich in fiber that helps the heart, builds and strengthens the bone, and his energy level is boosted.
Through unripe plantain flour, no additives, 100% natural, a product of Pali Agro Products Nigeria. Through unripe plantain flour, available in all leading stores nationwide.
Welcome back. Data from Ghana Statistical Services shows that the year 2021 ended with a national inflation rate of 12.6% compared to a 12.2% recorded in November 2021. This new figure represents a 0.4% rise in the inflation rate. Month-on-month inflation between November and December 2021 was 1.2%. This is the 7th consecutive time the inflation rate has seen an increase, and it becomes the highest recorded since the Ghana Statistical Service rebased the Consumer Price Index in August 2019. The new inflation figure of 12.6% also exceeds the Finance Ministry's focus of over 8% plus and over 8% plus of the year under review. According to the government statistician, Professor Samuel Kobani Anum, the jump can be attributed to higher cost of housing, water, electricity, and gas, as well as the overall increase in the contributions of non-food inflation to national inflation. Food inflation slowed to 12.8% from 13.1% in November, while the non-food price growth accelerated to 12.5% from 11.6%. However, non-food year-on-year inflation, which was what pushed the overall inflation figure up, on average went up again in December compared to November from 11.6% to 12.5%. And away from business news across Africa now to some foreign business, where we see signs of stabilization on Thursday with major equity bourses and bonds yields holding their ground and the dollar wilting after the highest U.S. inflation reading in nearly 40 years. The 7% year-on-year U.S. consumer price inflation reading was the highest since 1982. But after weeks of Federal Reserve officials talking about faster interest rate hike and stimulus withdrawal, it had been widely expected. Meanwhile, U.S. natural and gas futures surged more 14% on Wednesday as temperatures drop and focus call for more winter weather ahead. The contract for February delivery advanced 14.3% to settle at $4.857 per million British thermal units, hitting the highest level since November. Capital's John Kuldoff noting that this Saturday could record natural gas demand due to a cold blast focus for Friday. He added, the weather has gone from being a non-factor or bearish factor all season to being meaningful again for prices and demand. After surging for more of 2021, natural gas prices dropped 36% during the fourth quarter following warm temperatures and as the Omicron variant sent jitters through the market. Still, the contracts posted a 47% gain for 2021, and it's already up nearly 30% for 2022. Prices in the U.S. are rising at their fastest rate in almost 40 years, with the inflation up 7% year-on-year in December. Strong demand and scarce supply for key items such as cars are driving the increases, which are putting pressures on policymakers to act. The U.S. Central Bank is expected to rise interest rates this year. The rise in borrowing costs is aimed at reducing demand by making purchases such as cars more expensive. Up next is Entertainment Business News. AMC Entertainment CEO Adam Aaron sold another tranche of stock in the movie theater giant, but says he is done selling for now. A filing with the Security and Exchange Commission on Wednesday revealed that Aaron sold another $7.1 million in the AMV stock this week. Since last year, Aaron had sold more than $40 million in shares after initially disclosing the plan in an earnings call last August. The sales call as the movie theater chain grapples with its status as a main stock, with retail traders propelling its share price upward from $2 per share a year ago to as high as $52 per share to $22.72 as of the end of Wednesday, and giving the company much needed cash. Aaron said early this year that he intends to use the cash to lower the company's debt load, even as it expands to other areas as the NFTs and popcorn. Up now is sports business.
On sports business at this hour, Manchester City have surpassed city rivals Manchester United in revenue for the first time. The club posted revenue of $735.9 million during the season, topping Manchester United's $636.3 million. Manchester City achieved this feat with only $910,000 in matchday revenue. The club earned $383.2 million from broadcasting and $351.7 million from commercial and other sources. Meanwhile, City Football Group, which owns Manchester City, is working with the Oakview Group to build a $495 million mixed-use arena next to the team's Etihad Stadium. The group secured a 7-year, $650 million loan deal in July 2021 to help build a new stadium for its Major League Soccer club, New York City Football Club. And still talking sports business, DAZN is reportedly nearing deal with telecom company BT Group to acquire BT Sport for $800 million. The companies were reportedly closing in on a deal last fall, but negotiations stalled following concerns over revenue assurances and DAZN's streaming capabilities. Acquiring BT Sport would add a number of broadcasting rights to DAZN's roster. In 2019, the company spent roughly $1.7 billion on sports rights according to regulatory filings. In May, the Premier League extended its deals with Sky, Amazon, BBC and BT from 2022 to 2025. Collectively, the deals are worth $7 billion. And finally, on sports business, KKR Corporation has invited the Public Investment Fund to join its proposed acquisition of Telecom Italia. Telecom Italia paired with DAZN in July 2021 to gain domestic rights to the Italian Serie A in a 3-year deal worth $1.1 billion. KKR made its initial takeover bid in November, triggering a 38% increase in Telecom Italia's stock. The Turin-based company has kept most of these gains and had a market capitalization of around $10.9 billion as of Tuesday. The Public Investment Fund has had a growing presence in sports and gaming. It's reportedly close to acquiring Serie A's Inter Milan for $1 billion and bought Premier League's Newcastle United for $409 million in October 2021. The fund, with over $430 billion in assets, also has every investment in gaming, with $2.9 billion invested in Activision Blizzard, $2.9 billion in Electronic Arts, and $869 million in Take-Two Interactive as of September 30th, 2021. And that's it on sports business. I'm Samson Olede.
Thank you so much, Samson Oloide. So much going on there in the world of sports. And it's on that note we wrap up business news now at this hour. Please log on to the Ibrandtv website and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more business updates. I am Mary Chinda. Good afternoon.
Wherever you are, whatever you do, Ibrandtv got you covered with the latest news.
On iBrand News Now.
It's about making history.
Top-notch news analysis.
Who knows how many of them that we have in governance?
Insightful breakfast show.
Welcome to another interesting edition of iBrand Daybreak.
Business trends.
Hello and welcome to Business 24.
Entertainment gist.
Hello and welcome to the BTS.
Sport review.
This is the arena.
Fashion tips.
This is brands and fashion on Ibrandtv.
And a lot more. Keep watching Ibrandtv as we make your day worthwhile with quality TV broadcast. Ibrandtv. Business first.